テレ東BIZ。ワシントン支局の中村寛人です。今月18日から19日、アメリカのブリンケン国務長官が中国を訪問し、習近平国家主席と会談したほか、中国外交トップの王毅共産党政治局員、さらには秦剛外相と相次いで会談しました。アメリカとしてはブリンケン国務長官が習近平国家主席と会談できるかどうかが今回の中国訪問の成功の鍵を握るとされていましたので、実際に会談したことを受けてアメリカ国内では中国との関係改善に向けた明るい材料だとして受け止められています。アメリカは去年11月のバイデン大統領と習主席のトップ会談以降、中国との関係改善を模索し、ブリンケン長官の訪問は当初今年2月に予定されていました。しかし中国の偵察気球をめぐる問題を受け、訪問は直前で延期となり、このタイミングでの中国訪問となったわけです。アメリカの国務長官が中国を訪問したのは5年ぶりで、国交回復以来これほどの間が空いたことはありませんでした。米中関係は今後どう変化していくのか、オバマ政権とトランプ政権で東アジア政策を主導したソーントン元国務次官補代行に話を聞きました。
The Biden administration has adopted a hardline approach toward China, especially after the surveillance balloon incident. On the other hand, meetings at the ministerial level have been active in recent months. How do you understand these mixed signals?
Yeah, I think it's still a working through of the Biden administration's approach to China. You know, the U.S. policy toward China has radically altered in the last 7 years or so. I think most people, looking back to say 2015 and 16, I was working in Washington on China issues then. If you would have told me then that we would be where we are now with China in just a few years' time, I think people would have been very surprised at that kind of 180-degree change in the relationship. And so I think now what you're seeing is this kind of struggle to find a new footing in this environment. And even the Biden administration officials have talked about, you know, trying to find a floor in the relationship, which is a recognition that the two sides continue to sort of have this tit for tat escalation in the relationship that doesn't seem to be finding an end point and keeps the tensions on the increase. I think that's making everybody in, well, both the US and China, but also around the world, very uncomfortable and nervous. And so I think what we're hoping to see is that, you know, we can try to resolve some of these conflicting signals and set out a more sustainable and stable picture and framework for how the relationship will operate going forward. But we haven't found it yet, that's for sure.
In your assessment, how badly does China want a visit from the United States Secretary of State, and why?
China is first and foremost concerned about stability, security. So mostly internal stability and security for the regime, for the Chinese Communist Party. But increasingly, I would say, in the last 10 years or so, it's become more concerned about external security threats, and the external environment and whether or not it will be stable. Of course, the Chinese are still looking to try to develop their economy internally and to continue to sort of adjust and hone and reform, if you will, internal structures and administrative mechanisms. And they think that an external environment that's more stable and predictable is better for them. So I think what they hope in receiving Tony Blinken that they can try to get to is this kind of more clear picture of where the relationship between the United States and China is going, and hopefully a more kind of stable way of managing things rather than the sort of roller coaster we've been on for the last 5 years.
ソーントン氏は緊張が続く両国の関係ですが、アメリカそして中国ともに安定に向けた思惑があると言います。 別のアメリカ政府の元高官にも取材をすると、米中が共存を目指す長いプロセスの始まりだという声も上がっていました。そして今回のブリンケン国務長官の訪中で可能性が高まっているのが、バイデン大統領と習主席の2度目の首脳会談です。
Well, I absolutely think that Biden and Xi have to meet this year before 2024 starts. And, it's the job of the president of the United States, which President Biden is, to do these things, to maintain these relationships, to conduct the country's business and the world's business. And in order to do that, you've got to meet with Xi Jinping, I would say. So I agree with you. It's going to get a lot harder in U.S.-China relations as the campaign heats up. I think China will be a big focus in the campaign, unfortunately. I'm not sure that's warranted, but that seems to be where politicians have decided they can, score some political point.
アメリカ国内では与野党、そして世論も中国に対して厳しい態度を取るべきだという考えで一致しています。20日にバイデン大統領が自らの選挙イベントで習主席のことを独裁者と表現し、中国からの反発を受けたわけですが、来年に選挙を控えるバイデン大統領としてはですね、今年のうちに政治的な理由から中国との関係改善に本腰を入れておく必要があるということなんです。今年11月、アメリカで開催される APEC、アジア太平洋経済協力会議で米中首脳会談は実現するのでしょうか。そして両国の懸案となっている台湾問題に前進はあるのでしょうか。さらなる解説はテレ東BIZをご覧ください。